Today it's a special occasion. It's al-Adha. It is also known as the festival of sacrifice. Do you know what is special about this day? Let's learn more about it from the story of the prophets. Many thousands of years ago, people lived as hunters and gatherers. They moved from place to place, hunting animals and gathering fruits, roots, and vegetables. Slowly, people learned to grow their own food and raise animals. They settled in river valleys and plains where there was fertile soil and plenty of water. As the years passed, people began to produce new tools to make their lives easier. They invented useful things like plows and water wheels to help them grow more food. They also invented better weapons to defend themselves against their enemies and wild animals. Over time, villages grew into towns and cities. Large kingdoms appeared, ruled by powerful kings and armies. Tribes and nations began to fight one another for land and wealth, which led to much suffering among the people. Many people were led astray and turned away from the guidance of the one true God. In each age, God sent His guidance to mankind. Human beings need divine guidance at all times because we depend on Allah for everything. God guides us because He is kind and merciful. In the past, God sent His guidance through His prophet and messengers to many nations. The prophets and messengers were people chosen by Allah to guide mankind. Their mission was to explain the message of Allah to the people according to the times in which they lived. The Holy Quran teaches us about many prophets and messengers, such as Prophet Adam, Prophet Noah, Abraham, Musa, Moses, Isa, Jesus, and Muhammad, the final messenger of God. Today, we will learn about the stories of Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail.
Far away from the land of the unbelievers, Prophet Ibrahim was preaching to a crowd. The people stood around him, listening carefully to his words. A long time had passed since he had left his homeland, but he had never given up teaching people about God and about the right path. Prophet Ibrahim carried out Allah's mission for many years. During this time, however, he remained without children. As the days passed, he longed to have children of his own. Every day, he prayed to Allah to bless him with a child. One day, something wonderful happened to Prophet Ibrahim. A son by the name of Ismail was born to him and his wife Hajar. The Prophet of Allah was overcome with joy. His prayer for a child had at last been answered. Soon afterwards, Allah guided His Prophet to take Hajar and Ismail to the valley of Makkah in Arabia. Following Allah's command, Prophet Ibrahim left his family in the valley and continued with his journey. He knew that God would take good care of his family. Hajar and her son were hot and tired after their long journey. The fierce heat of the sun made them very thirsty. Hajar at once began to search for water in the valley. But no matter where she looked, there was not a drop of water anywhere. How would she and her child ever survive in this dry and barren valley? Suddenly, a most amazing thing happened. As the little boy's heels stamped the ground beneath him, a stream of water spurted out of the earth. Hajar cried out in joy as she cupped the water in her hands. Day after day, the water kept on flowing and became a well. It was near this well that Hajar and her son built their new home. The well of Zamzam, as it came to be known, can be found in Makkah even today. As months passed, Prophet Ibrahim missed his wife and son and longed to see them again. One day, he decided to return to the valley of Makkah in Arabia. What a surprise it was for his family to see him. They were full of joy at seeing Prophet Ibrahim. How happy too was Allah's messenger to hold his son once again in his arms. One night, after Prophet Ibrahim had been with his family for some time, there came to him a special dream from Allah. In this dream, God asked Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice that which was most dear to him, his son Ismail. Allah had tested his messenger's faith many times in the past. This was one more test which lay before him. Prophet Ibrahim woke up with a start and remembered the dream. Calling Ismail to him, he told his son of Allah's wish. The little boy loved Allah as much as his father did. Fully aware of what would happen to him, he replied, "Father, do as you are commanded."
Prophet Ibrahim's love for his son burned like a fierce fire in his heart. Yet he was ready to do whatever God asked of him. He took his son to a nearby place and began to prepare for the sacrifice. This was the most difficult moment for Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail. It was a time when they had to place all their trust and all their faith in Allah. Never before had they needed as much courage as they needed now, just as he was about to sacrifice him. "O Ibrahim, you have already fulfilled the dream," God revealed to him. Prophet Ibrahim had indeed passed the most difficult trial of his life. Allah asked that instead of Ismail, a ram be sacrificed to him. Prophet Ibrahim hugged his son in his arms, his heart filled with deep happiness. Never for a moment had either of them thought to disobey God. Their faith in him had been as strong as mountains and as deep as the ocean. Allah was very pleased with both of them. The great faith of Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail will never be forgotten. Every year there is a special day when Muslims remember these two prophets and their deep faith in Allah. This day is called al-Adha, the festival of sacrifice. Muslims all around the world celebrate al-Adha. Nasir has been waiting for a long time for the day of Eid to arrive. Early in the morning, he joins in the Eid prayers. Eid Mubarak, Nasir greets his uncles, aunts and cousins with a big smile when they visit his house. Eid Mubarak, they reply as they hug, kiss one another. Soon their whole family sits down together for a meal. Later Nasir thinks about the story of Prophet Ibrahim. What does the story of sacrifice teach us? It teaches us that our life is a precious gift from God. Our life is given to us by Allah, and to Him it will one day return. Prophet Ibrahim's story teaches us to trust our Creator and to have faith in Him at all times. On behalf of all Baitul teachers around the world, we wish you a joyous Eid.